and some information on what has occurred. At approximately 4:25 on Tuesday, January 26, 2016, the FBI and OSP began a law enforcement action to bring into custody the people riding in two separate vehicles as they traveled between the Wildlife Refuge and John Day, Oregon. The FBI did have a plane in the air, and what I'm about to show you is a video that was taken from that plane. A couple of notes about the video before I show it to you. The plane is following the vehicles, and the camera sometimes pans from one vehicle to the other, a white truck in front and a Jeep in back. At other times, when the vehicles are at a fixed location, the plane is flying in a pattern over those vehicles. Because of that flight pattern, there are portions of what occurs that are obscured by trees, and then blocks what is happening. The details I'm about to provide to you are based on an analysis of that video and statements from FBI agents and OSP troopers who were there on scene. Because the operation lasted for more than 25 minutes, we're showing you two of the most pertinent clips from that video. The entire unedited video, from the start of the traffic stop through the surrender of all individuals, will be available to the media and the general public on the FBI's YouTube channel. Because I am using some very specific language tonight to describe what is happening, the entire transcripts of my comments will be posted to flashalertbend.net. You will see we blocked out law enforcement sensitive information regarding the plane's operation, but that is the only adjustment we have made to the full-length video. I want to caution you, the video does depict the shooting death of LaVoy Finicum. We realize viewing this piece of the video may cause distress or make some uncomfortable, but we feel that it is necessary to show the whole thing unedited in the interest of transparency. Start the video. The video picks up a few seconds before the FBI and OSP vehicles pull in behind the Jeep, the second vehicle in line. The Jeep quickly pulls to a stop while the white truck, driven by LaVoy Finicum, continues some distance up the road. I want to note there'll be several segments where there will not be a lot of speaking. Some law enforcement vehicles stay with the Jeep, while others continue following the white truck. Over a period of several minutes, out of camera view, the following people exit the Jeep without incident. The driver, who is not charged and will not be named, Ammon Bundy, and Brian Cavalier. Shortly, the camera will pan back to, whoa. Okay, it's up. The camera's panning back to the Jeep at this point. Looking at the white truck, about 4 minutes into the video, Ryan Payne exits through the back door. It's difficult to see behind the trees, but in the lower right-hand corner, you can see him with his hands up, being approached by law enforcement officers and being taken into custody. There's a period of approximately 3 minutes and 47 seconds where the truck sits on the road. We have edited for time here, but it is available in the raw, unedited version of the FBI's YouTube channel. Throughout this time, agents and troopers are providing verbal commands to the occupants to surrender. We can't comment on what may have been going on in the truck at this time, but those details may come out later as part of the overall shooting investigation. When we come back to the video, the white truck leaves the scene at a high rate of speed. It travels some distance, quickly approaching a vehicle roadblock. As the truck approaches the roadblock, there is a spike strip across the road, but it appears Finicum missed it as he attempted to drive around the roadblock. He nearly hits an FBI agent as he maneuvers to the left. The truck gets stuck in the snowbank. Finicum leaves the truck and steps through the snow. Agents and troopers on scene had information that Finicum and others would be armed. On at least 2 occasions, Finicum reaches his right hand toward a pocket on the left inside portion of his jacket. He did have a loaded 9mm semi-automatic handgun in that pocket. At this time, OSP troopers shot Finicum.
Jeff Gianola here. We were watching live the video that the FBI was showing at their news conference, and you clearly saw LaVoy Finicum coming out of the car with his hands raised. Before he did that, almost hitting an FBI agent or another police officer with his car. We are told by the FBI the officer who fired was an Oregon State trooper, that the Oregon State troopers were closer than the FBI, that was an Oregon State trooper. But then you clearly saw LaVoy Finicum fall down into the snow. You heard the FBI saying that when he reached his waistband, they later discovered he did have a gun.
The FBI gave warning before the news conference started that that was something that we were going to see, and they were doing that in an attempt to be as transparent as possible.
I want to say something right here. In all my years of television, and I know you too, I have never seen anything like this, where a federal agency like the FBI, so transparent to the point of showing graphic video that happened. But you heard what they were saying. They said there was so much misinformation out there. They knew this was graphic